Fucking dodging, you gotta look both ways before you cross the street. Everybody's taking shots at us, Caitlin Clark fans, the Chicago Sky vloggers, the content creators, the Angel Reese content creators are firing at us non-stop. We gotta keep our head on a swivel, y'all. We gotta keep our head on a swivel. Stephanie White's a bum and needs to be fired. That's what's going on. Did y'all see the interviews today? Sophie Cunningham just exposed Stephanie White. Flat out exposed her.
A plot twist from a reality show that no one signed up for was just pulled off by Sophie Cunningham. With receipts, sass, and a face that shouted, "I said what I said," she body-slammed Stephanie White's entire coaching credibility in addition to defending Caitlin Clark. What set off this fierce takedown? Why is everyone in the WNBA behaving as though it's a disastrous collective project? This tea is hotter than the Fever's bench rotation, so stay put.
Stephanie White, in her post-game interview, confirms the team looks the best when the ball is in Caitlin's hands, when she is the main decision maker, and everything revolves around her. Yet for some strange reason, in the Valkyries game yesterday, after witnessing that in real time, Stephanie White decides to change things up, slow the things down, take Caitlin out the game, and she complains that the team suddenly loses focus.
There is nothing to do with a 5-player setup when fans swarm the arena wearing mismatched merchandise and chanting like it's a cult revival meeting. The Caitlin system is what it is. The system is Caitlin. It would still sell out even if you threw 5 traffic cones and Fever jerseys next to her. After all, nobody is purchasing tickets to witness screen aids and backdoor cuts. Caitlin is being purchased by them. Forget about it.
Sophie Cunningham went on the record to basically say what I've been saying and everyone else. Give the damn ball to Caitlin. Whatever offense we running right now, it is not working. You have to give the ball to Caitlin and let Caitlin do what Caitlin has to do. Now, we done seen this formation time and time again. Now, I know some people might want to say Caitlin Clark was off the ball somewhat at Iowa. She was a little bit in years.
When the ecosystem is centered around a single gravitational force, this isn't a team sport. She is the director, the main act, and the person who shreds tickets at the entrance at this basketball theater. Sophie Cunningham, a human microphone, basketball player, and full-time truth giver, enters this magnificent mess. Thank God the woman doesn't have a mute button.
It's a rough time being an Indiana Fever fan right now. Things is getting real crucial. It's real serious. We're almost 20 games into the season, and we are below 500. This is embarrassing. I would have, at the beginning of the season, I would have bet you my last breath. I would have bet my life, my house, everything, that there was a 0% chance that we would be under 500 19 games into the season. This is crazy.
Sophie isn't asking for a job at the league office. She's not here to play diplomat, and she's definitely not sugarcoating anything to appease the positive vibes-only crowd. With HD clarity and the accuracy of a miniature buzzsaw, she says what needs to be said. She tells the truth as if it owes her money, which makes people uneasy around her. When you ask Sophie a question, you receive a fireworks display and a TED presentation instead of a soundbite.
To watch a 19-point loss, Caitlin Clark's return, in which, since this is a lady we're talking about, it looks like Stephanie White has spaded Caitlin Clark, for lack of a better way of putting it. If it was a dude, I'd say neutered, but, you get my point. She has taken away Caitlin Clark's greatest asset, which is the creator and instigator of offense.
In today's world of media-trained athletes muttering platitudes, she possesses the uncommon ability to truly believe what she says while speaking out loud in public. This is like soaring without a parachute, but with all the confidence. Naturally, when she gave her 2 cents, more like $200, worth 0 cents, some sensitive folks had their feelings upset. Which cities ought to make WNBA expansion teams take notice? A player with a viewpoint concerning the league? Before the microphones? How could she interfere with the echo chamber of pre-planned talking points and bland interviews? She wasn't engaging in league politics. She tossed the board, rolled the dice, and informed everyone that the pieces had been rigged from the beginning. That's the charm, though. Sophie is not vying for the title of Miss Congeniality. She sees what every basketball IQ above sea level sees, so it's not PR. Everyone else is struggling with the user manual while Caitlin is the system. Caitlin shouldn't be acting as like she's being punished for creating the three-point line. Watching referees attempt to explain a technical foul without going into interpretive dance is the only thing more awkward than her current usage.
In the post-practice interviews, had this to say.
I think that everyone saw that. We kind of got some flow when Kate was hurt and our offense was clicking. But now we have to have a new offense when she's in there because she just brings that much to the game, and so we have to adjust. And I think all of us just want it now. We know
We had some flow, but when Caitlin's here, we need to play a different style because she's that great. That is what Sophie Cunningham just said.
Rather of focusing the offense on the generational phenomena, there is a deliberate attempt to integrate her, treating her as a minor annoyance that requires bureaucratic approval. She doesn't play a supporting role. She is not a project to be developed. Before the gym lights go out, she is the blueprint, the main event, and the spectacular conclusion. Sophie is too busy to learn coded language. Legacy coaching hierarchies that act like it's 1997 irritate her. She witnesses a star being intentionally darkened. Nope, not on my watch, he declares. She is unfiltered in a league that still adores its filters, not because she is impolite or unpleasant. In group discussions, she will speak out what everyone whispers. She will challenge choices that others justify as strategic. She will criticize mediocre coaching changes that resemble confused yoga poses rather than basketball plays.
Years past, but when Caitlin Clark has become the Caitlin Clark we loved and we've grown to see, Caitlin Clark has the ball in her damn hands, bro. Caitlin Clark has the ball in her hands, and she said verbatim herself that they run a read and react offense. You know what that is? The ball's in Caitlin's hands. Now, there has been a large speculation that Caitlin Clark pretty much wants to go to New York and play with Sandy Bernardello in the game.
The true issue lies beneath all the catchphrases and strategies. The Fever decided to use the Ferrari he had the keys to for a supermarket errand. Like Wi-Fi in a forest, Caitlin's brilliance is being squandered. A once-in-a-generation athlete is not drafted to stand in the corner while someone else runs a post-up that results in a missed layup and a collective sigh from the audience. You move aside, give her the spatula, let her cook, and watch the genius happen. However, Sophie is the contentious one for speaking out about this. Not the offensive plan that appears to have been scrawled on a napkin in the middle of the term, nor the coaching staff. Turbulence. Not the decision-makers, who continue to view professional shooters as mere role players. No, it's Sophie, with her audacious claims and refusal to act as though the Emperor's clothes are authentic. She merely expressed a preference, and all of a sudden, half of the timeline demanded an apology, as though she had disparaged their grandmother's meal. It's not Hunger Games, it's expansion.
I don't care about the rest of what she has to say. It's going to sound good, I'm sure. It's going to be her refusing to take accountability, I'm sure. It's going to be her putting the onus on the players, I'm sure. Not owning up to her, I'm sure. But what she said right there, other than 2 5-minute spurts, the team lost focus, didn't pay attention to detail, so on and so forth. That is her not realizing that she's accountable for what.
Sophie recognizes that this league only succeeds when the product is unquestionably excellent, something that many people are unwilling to acknowledge. Additionally, the product is currently sold when Caitlin touches the ball rather than when she vanishes for periods of 10 minutes as if the coaching staff has grounded her. Perhaps, just possibly, the offense should involve her more than the bench rotation involves folding chairs if fans are purchasing jerseys and packed arenas for a single player. Nobody showed up to observe the fever-run, antiquated sets that mix up motion and advancement. Nobody is watching offensive possessions that have no resolution and resemble group therapy sessions. Fireworks, deep threes, and the kind of self-assurance that even opposition fans applaud are what they're looking for. Because sometimes a microphone and a little attitude are necessary to tell the truth. And Sophie Cunningham enters the picture with that remark just when things couldn't get any hotter. Participants on separate islands. Like this isn't a professional basketball squad, but rather a tropical cruise. The WNBA abruptly became Survivor Indiana Fever Edition, where everyone is too preoccupied with paddling alone to see the boat is sinking, trust is a myth, and chemistry is legendary.
I've never thought that I would be saying this late last year in November when the Indiana Fever hired Stephanie White. I never thought I'd be saying this right now, only 19 games into the 2025 season, that it's time for Stephanie White to go. The Indiana Fever needs to fire Stephanie White. This is not going to work. What we're seeing is not going to work. It's just not going to work.
Because sometimes a microphone is necessary to tell the truth. A tiny amount of attitude, too. And then Sophie Cunningham makes that remark, just when things couldn't get any hotter. Participants on separate islands. For example, this is not a professional basketball team, but rather a tropical cruise. The WNBA abruptly became Survivor Indiana Fever Edition, where everyone is too preoccupied with paddling alone to see the boat is sinking, trust is a myth, and chemistry is legendary. And here's Sophie, grabbing the megaphone and pointing out what anyone with 2 eyes and even a half-basketball brain could see with anguish. The group is deliberately allergic to cohesiveness, not just fragmented. Sophie is standing there thinking, hey, maybe we should, work together, while no one wants to open the Google Doc for a lengthy group project. However, rather than dealing with the dysfunction, the ruling class chose to continue spinning the wheel in the hopes that something would ultimately click, as though chemistry would suddenly materialize like a time-limited coupon. The head coach is still scribbling on a whiteboard 2/3 of the way through the season, as if she's trapped in her own maze. Still trying to figure it out? At the 20th game. That isn't a strategy. That's headband malpractice. Consider approaching offensive rhythm like a scavenger hunt when you have Caitlin Clark on your squad. The plays resemble unplanned street performance art rather than planned activity.
I like how she looks, but man, it's tough. It's tough to get that growing to 100%. But I like the mindset, thinking about her long term, right? Long term, and that's what matters the most. I know we are trying to push the Indiana Fever to win a championship right now this year. I know a lot of fans would love to see it, but at the end of the day, man, if Caitlin Clark has to sit out for the rest of the year, would y'all be able to accept that? Would that be something you can live with? You know what I'm saying? Not saying she has to or anything like that. I'm just saying if that came about.
Sophie, on the other hand, is calling it what she sees because she is tired of acting fake and avoiding the obvious. It's not a vibe issue if gamers are feeling disengaged, let's face it. It's a leadership issue that has been slowly cooking since the beginning. That island analogy was a full-fledged diagnosis, not simply a casual comment. There are rotations that resemble someone playing Sudoku in the middle of the game, scorers not receiving touches, and defenders not receiving guidance. A system does not exist. No accountability exists. There's just a locker room full of courteous shrugs and a head coach with a foggy playbook. Sophie is the only one brave enough to harmonize with the national anthem, and the disconnect is louder than it. The worst part, though, the fact that she is saying these things continues to surprise people. A roulette wheel with a whistle on. The team has plenty of talent, so it's not like they lack it. However, without direction, talent is just sneakers and chaos. Chemistry cannot be created by accident. When no one is permitted to develop trust, you cannot expect synergy. And you definitely can't keep shuffling lineups like a DJ trying to save a dying dance floor.
So today, lads, obviously there's going to be a lot of videos about Stephanie White, because we need to be honest here, Stephanie White's not going to change. Stephanie White is not going to change. Stephanie White is not going to stop until her style of drag everyone down to their level basketball prevails. She's not going to change. And I do not think that we're going to see very much of Stephanie White, or very much of the Fever playing good basketball under Stephanie White.
So when Sophie speaks up, it cuts through the noise like a chainsaw at a poetry reading. She's not whispering suggestions, she's delivering evaluations. And yes, it stings, but the truth usually does. Especially when it's been buried under layers of deflection, media jargon, and post-game interviews so vague, you'd think they were written by AI trying not to get sued. And what's the response from the sidelines? More ambiguity, more trust the process energy, as if the process hasn't been a slow descent into mid-season purgatory. It's like watching someone refuse to read the instruction manual while assembling IKEA furniture, then blaming the screws for not having enough chemistry with the wooden panels. Meanwhile, fans are watching Sophie like she's the one sane person in a horror movie full of bad decisions. She sees the ghosts, points at the haunted basement, and everyone else is still like, no, let's split.